Hi, welcome to the Pursuit of Truth. So it's another year is going and a new one is coming, of course. No such thing really, because every day is the same, and the construction of days and weeks, months and years was a man-made concept, isn't it? It doesn't actually have any bearing really. It's just a way for us to contain ourselves and contain a year and be able to talk about it, and it has no real factual element to it when you strip all these things away. I wonder what life would have been like if we didn't have days, months, weeks and years. The idea of not looking back in the past or I don't know, or what it'd be like. But I was thinking before about, that's why I wanted to make this Pursuit of the Truth a subject that I talk about a lot, to do with the system that we live within, because my belief is that the system that we live within doesn't work. And we all seem to know it. We all see the failings on the news. We all know about the failings in our daily lives. But I always think, like, how was it, how would it be possible to change it? Why is it we came up with the system that we're living in? The problem is, of course, if you're coming to this new, then you're going to think, well, what is he talking about? This is the way this is life. This is the only way it could be. Whereas we know that's not true. Throughout history, there's been different systems that we've lived within, and we've got to this stage now where everyone has the same template. Everyone has a government, everyone has a bank, everyone has schools, everyone has all these same things, even though they're giving different names. But the structure, the system is the same. May have different political motives, but the vast majority is exactly the same everywhere on this place that we found ourselves upon, by design, because it's, so that's where I get stuck. You see, like, I think the system I would like is a system that's without money, just without the possession and the greed, that kind of thing, the division of needing to, to have passports, that why can't we have freedom of travel on this place that we found ourselves upon that really no one can possess? We all have a finite amount of time currently. We all live, we all die. There's nothing we can really possess. We can only possess in the short time that we're alive. And that's a very sort of, I would say, caveman or old ways of looking at things, of possessing things. And some people say, oh, I'm talking about utopia or something like that. And then you think that, well, how could we change from the place that we're at now to millions of minds, those people in power in all these different countries with all these different cultures, all these different beliefs? How would you make them all suddenly just say, we're not going to have money and we're going to do things because we want to do things, because we're going to want to help each other out, because we see the benefit of helping humanity rather than the necessity to make a million different types of car, a million different, compete with each other to make different vaccines rather than work together and pool all this information because everyone wants to make that buck or that dollar or that pound or that yen or whatever, ruble. I mean, in reality, any system, systems have changed throughout time. Any system could be. No system is more farcical than the other. The one we're living in, of this idea of, we've got a piece of paper from a tree that we've decided to give a value, and of a bit of gold somewhere, that nowadays the amount of money that we have outranks, I'm sure, the gold that it was based on originally. We're printing money like no one's been, quantitative easing and all that kind of stuff. It's farcical to say that, we can't print money because we've got to keep it at a certain value. That's illusionary bullshit, man-made concept. So, but it's just to keep the status quo of the system, because I don't want to lose the system of the people who have to become equal with the people who have nots. Because we could have this system. There's no reason why we couldn't have it, because we have this one that we're living in, and we've had different ones throughout time. If we understood that the one we're living in is not good for all humanity, that there's people suffering all the time, unnecessarily, because of this man-made system, this illusionary system. But the problem is changing it. How do you change all these people's minds? That's the real problem. And why did we come to this system of possession, of division, of want? Is it because we used to give presents to each other? Because I often think that Christmas or birthdays, even though religiously you're not meant to celebrate them, but I think they have a part of the reason why we possess or we want things to call our own, because we're taught at a very young age, this is for you, this is your present. And because I see with my twins how sometimes one will want to play with the toys that the other one's playing with, they want to possess it. They don't have any negative feeling towards that child, or because children don't have that, they just want. So is that intrinsically within us that we're always going to want, because we always want food, we always want warmth? Is that a natural thing? And so because we have that want of food and warmth and etc., and love and connectivity, I guess, is that then because that is within each one of us, we're always going to want to possess, because that's an extension of it, to possess, this bit of land, or I want to possess, something so that I can be prideful, so that people set up companies to compete against each other unnecessarily. It doesn't develop humanity. Well, it does, but in a very slow way, because we could all work together. There's no reason why all the companies in the world couldn't work together, except our own pride and our want of being top dog, of being the one that makes all the money. How do we get rid of that? And the thing is, if it's intrinsically within us, then we can't, unless we can somehow tame it. But maybe there are other intrinsic things that we've tamed, like caveman aspects of ourselves. But I guess that takes a long time to try and make us understand. I think we're getting there, because I see many more programs, many more movies, like Don't Look Now, Don't Look Up. I don't know whether Adam McKay is really a woke person, or to use that rather inaccurate term, someone who sees that the system that we're living in isn't beneficial. But because there's a lot of people that make, like Network, who make things that, speak to the same things of that the system isn't working, money isn't working, but do they really actually feel it, or they're just making a drama or a comedy, or they're just making a social comment, but don't really want to delve down to the very roots of these things, where it comes back to the system that we live within. They just think about, oh, money's bad, or the way we use it, or we're corrupt. They don't want to change the whole thing, which is the problem. I don't think you can just, we could twerk things, but it would take hundreds, millennia of years to actually get to the stage where we actually don't need division. We don't need to compete against other fellow human beings. We're all the same species. It's like lions competing against lions. What's the point of that? There's no beneficial point for us to say, you're this, you're that, I can't work with you because of this, that, and the other. That doesn't help us as a species. That's what we should be looking at. Like, is it the mentality we need is the mentality as if we went to space, and maybe that's when we will get it. If we have to find another planet to live upon, assuming they are these things. And then we work together, isn't it? When we're on a space station, no one needs to get paid. I don't know, do they get paid? No one needs to do something because they want to live, they want to survive, they want to work together. Maybe it does. I'm assuming when we get to a planet, people work together to make it habitable, build things together without need of, this is mine, this is yours. But I suspect we'll probably do the same thing. We'll take the same mentality of here and want to possess this part of the moon or Mars or whatever planet name we go on. This bit's mine, this bit's yours, this bit's England, this bit's America, and just recreate the same mistakes that we did here, rather than seeing, it's fine to give things labels. We've given we woke up and found this place. Whether you believe in religion or Darwinism, whatever, first man, whoever that was, or woman, first species, no one knows what a lion or a tree is. We've given these names so that we can communicate, so we can understand things, and that's fine to do that. But we've got to make sure that labels don't become boxes that we sit within, and then these boxes divide us. It's fine to say, okay, this bit of land, if you want to call a bit of land America or Britain or whatever, that's fine. but not the possessive part. Not that that means only people who are then Americans or British or whatever can stay there. Everything is equally each of ours. No one can possess it. That's just truth. Is equally all of ours. Until we see that, until we get rid of these crowns and thrones and gowns and, you know, this illusionary power, because each person is as equal as the next. Until we get to that understanding and then decide, well, wait a minute, we know that. Oh, look, let's wake up, which is why the woke bit comes in, and see, wait a minute, why are we living like this? We're living like this because people before didn't see these things. They wanted to possess, and that was it. They wanted to go around the world and this is mine. And yes, I'm proud because I discovered this. I discovered what? It was there all the time. There was nothing, everything has been discovered by everyone equally. It's all of ours. It's not, you can't put a flag in and say it's yours. That is old ways. That's caveman way of thinking about things. That's not evolution of humanity. If you still believe in those possessive things, then you're holding humanity back. You may not get it today, but maybe tomorrow you might understand it. Or you only wait till everyone else tells you, like the sheeple theory. Until important people tell you that, wait a minute, do you know you're all equal and you're free and everything is yours and you shouldn't have needed passports to go and you should have had a great existence, your one existence that you have, to taste the beauty of the life that we've all been equally given, so that you could live nicely, and there's no reason why you couldn't accept that the people before wanted to possess things and wanted to have different hierarchies of people because they wanted to maintain. But we don't need to do that anymore because now we know how to maintain everything so that everyone equally, we have enough resources so that everyone equally can have a nice, equal life, whether everyone has a home, everyone has food, everyone has medicine, we all work together as one species. Wouldn't that be brilliant if that was 2022? But unfortunately, I think that would be more like 3022, the way that humans work. We're so slow and we're so clingy onto things that we all desperately know don't work. And if you don't believe me, if you have the resources, go to these poor countries, see how they're living. Tell me then that the system works for all humanity. You don't blame it on because this country does this, or they want to fight, or they want to do this, the other. We're all one species. We're all humanity. We shouldn't be just saying, oh, we're only going to help ourselves, or, you know, this person has all this knowledge of how to do things, how to build things, how to make things, perfect, as if it were. Why does this information have to have a monetary value? A paltry price, as the Bible or Quran will put it. I mean, the teachings are all there, and it's just we like to live in stories and illusions, and it seems like we don't really care about the fate of each individual human being, as if it doesn't affect us because we live in the bubble of a circle, of a family, or of a country, or of a culture. Whereas before any of that, when we were birthed, when we were born, all we were humans, like a lion having a cub. We're animals in that sense, and that we're all. I feel like I'm saying the same things over and over again, and this is just, it seems so common sense to me, but I'm sure if I talked to myself 3 years ago, I wouldn't have understood all this and think, what are you talking about? Because it takes an evolution of thought to get to this stage, because the problem is the temptation of modernity, of the life that we're living, of all the trinkets and this, that and the other, and the entertainment persuades us to look away, to not look up, as it were, because it's glaringly obvious, but we're being told not to look at it. We're being told, put your TV on, have a mince pie, have a beer or a cigarette or whatever, and enjoy your existence. Don't worry about everyone else. There's nothing you can do about it. Take care, take it easy, God bless. Peace.